Hi, my name is Sarah Mitchell. I am 38 years old and I live in Orlando, Florida. This is my story. I never imagined that one notification from my credit card company would end my marriage. It wasn't just about money. It was about realizing my husband had taken another woman on the family vacation we had planned for our children. Daniel and I had been married for 14 years. We had 2 wonderful kids. I worked as an elementary school teacher and Daniel worked in sales. Every summer, after school ended, we took a family vacation. It was our favorite tradition. That year, we had booked a beach resort on Florida's Gulf Coast. The kids counted down the days. Then, 4 days before we were supposed to leave, Daniel came home looking stressed. "I'm sorry," he said. "A big project came up at work. We have to cancel." The kids were disappointed, but we understood. I trusted him completely. A week later, while grading papers, my phone buzzed. It was a fraud alert asking if I had approved a charge for nearly $2,000 at a luxury beachfront hotel. I immediately opened my banking app. There were more charges: airline tickets, expensive restaurants, a couple's spa package, boat tours. Everything had been charged to my credit card. At first, I thought someone had stolen my information. Then I noticed the hotel name. It was the exact resort where our family vacation was supposed to be. Instead of panicking, I logged into our shared travel account. The reservation had never been cancelled. It had simply been changed from 2 adults and 2 children to 2 adults. I searched the second guest's name online. Within minutes, I found social media photos. Daniel was smiling on the beach with a younger woman named Chloe. The caption read, "The perfect getaway." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I closed my laptop. I didn't call him. I didn't send angry messages. Instead, I started collecting evidence. I downloaded every credit card statement, every receipt, every travel confirmation, and every email. The next morning, I called my credit card company. They froze my account and advised me to save all my records. Then I scheduled a meeting with a family law attorney named Rebecca Collins. She carefully reviewed every document. When I finished explaining what happened, she looked at me and said, "Sarah, this isn't only about an affair. Your husband used marital funds and your credit card to pay for another relationship. The court may take that very seriously." For the first time in days, I felt hope. I wasn't looking for revenge. I wanted fairness. That evening, Daniel came home acting as though nothing had happened. After the children went to bed, I placed a folder on the dining room table. Inside were the hotel receipt, my credit card statements, and printed photos of him and Chloe at the beach. He looked at the papers and turned pale. "Sarah, I can explain." I calmly shook my head. "I'm sure you can." But the documents already did. A week later, Daniel moved out. Soon after, he filed for divorce. During the financial disclosure process, Daniel claimed the vacation expenses were business-related. Rebecca simply submitted the evidence: the credit card statements, hotel invoices, airline tickets, restaurant receipts, photos from social media. She never argued. She let the facts speak. At the hearing, the judge reviewed every document. Then he looked at Daniel. "If this was a business trip," the judge asked, "why did you purchase a couple's spa package using your wife's credit card?" The courtroom became completely silent. Daniel had no answer. The judge ruled that Daniel had to reimburse every unauthorized charge placed on my credit card. The spending was also considered when dividing our marital property. It didn't erase the pain. But it reminded me that honesty still matters. After the divorce was finalized, life slowly became peaceful again. The children adjusted better than I expected. Instead of focusing on what we had lost, I focused on what we still had. One weekend, I used part of the money I recovered to take the kids to a small beach cottage. It wasn't luxurious. We packed sandwiches, played board games, collected seashells, and watched the sunset together. As we sat on the sand, my daughter quietly slipped her hand into mine. "This vacation is better," she whispered. I smiled. "Why?" "Because you're smiling again." Those words meant more than any court victory ever could. Months later, my daughter came home from school with a writing assignment. The teacher had asked the class to write about the strongest person they knew. At the top of her paper, she had written, "My mum." She wrote that strength wasn't about yelling or getting even. It was about staying kind when life became difficult. Reading those words brought tears to my eyes. Not because I was sad, because I knew my children had learned something far more valuable than revenge. They had learned dignity. Today, I still teach at the same elementary school. I still live in the same home. The house feels different now. It isn't filled with secrets anymore. It's filled with laughter, peace, and hope. People sometimes ask if I regret staying calm. The answer is always no. If I had reacted with anger, I might have felt better for a moment. Instead, I stayed patient. I kept every document. I asked for legal help. And I let the truth speak for me. If you're going through something similar, remember this. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to seek revenge to find justice. Protect yourself. Save every record. Know your rights. And never let someone else's betrayal convince you that your value has changed. The day I stopped trying to save my marriage was the day I finally started saving myself. And that became the greatest comeback of my life.